Hey everyone, I am Ellie from Sexton Studios. I'm the lead designer on Worldbreakers Advent of the Khanate, and I just published my first video game, Flocking Hell. And today I'm going to present a new card for the elevation set for Netrunner, and I'm joined by Jamie. Jamie, would you kindly introduce yourself?
Well, I'm Jamie. I am the rules manager for Netrunner with No Single Games, and I'm also the rules manager and a game designer for Worldbreakers.
And also one of the lead playtesters for Flocking Hell. If we factor in your volunteer time with Fantasy Flight Games, is it fair to say you're the person who's been working on Netrunner the longest?
If you count my playtesting time, then probably yes. I'm the person who's been working on Netrunner for the longest, like continuous period of time.
And you're also in charge of the unofficial rules for Netrunner, the ANCUR, I think.
I was involved in that, and that project sort of just transitioned into becoming the NSG rules team when that happened.
Cool. So we have a card from Elevation. The card is Ritual. It's an event. It costs 0. It's a Shaper event, and it says draw one card for each click you have remaining. And the flavor text is every day starts the same. T, news, a 3D puzzle. Then it's off to work. Magdalene won't let being fired get in the way of completing her masterpiece.
You didn't say it's two influence.
Oh, yeah, it's a shaper card with 2 influence. Thank you. Before we go into the card's mechanics, can you tell me a bit about the
It's
story, about Magdalene, what's going on here?
Yeah, so Magdalene is an architect, was involved in Lake Victoria Space Elevator, was originally going to be the lead architect for the Makota Longet, the elevator in Kota Kalimantan that's being built. Some of her past came to light and she was removed from the project, but it is her magnum opus. Yeah, Magdalene isn't gonna like let it go and is using their runner abilities to continue to exert influence on the construction of the elevator.
The card is pretty badass, very much a well-designed shaper card.
Both of the Shaper IDs in the set do some really interesting things that feel right in line with the faction mechanically.
Yeah, I agree. From my experience with Worldbreakers, designing identities is the most difficult design task, and I'm really impressed with both Magdalene and I think it's pronounced Dewey. Both of them are pretty rad shaper identities. So let's talk about the card text. Draw one card for each click you have remaining. I was wondering, has the card gone through any changes during design, or was it like this from the beginning?
This actually started out development as a neutral card. It moved into Shaper for a variety of reasons, including balance and the way that the design and development teams want to provide economic effects mostly in the factions as opposed to cards that can just freely slot into any deck. But the reason that sort of appeals the most to me as a designer is sort of the color pie aspect. And I think Ritual is a cool follow-up to the sort of sequencing matters theme that we get a little bit of in System Gateway. Creative Commission and VRcation are both events in System Gateway that shapers get that cost an extra click, but not if you don't have it. So you don't have to pay the click up front. You lose a click when you resolve it. So if you play it on your last click, you don't have to worry about that part. One of the other econ cards in System Gateway Shaper is Telework Contract, which is not restricted to a particular click, but it's a once per turn effect. So there are a few things that sort of suggest that shapers care about the way that they sequence things. And Ritual reinforces that and says, hey, you can get more cards if you play this earlier in the turn.
I was really surprised when you said that the card was originally designed as neutral, because to me, it really shouts a very shaper card between the card draw, very Diesel-like, which Diesel is rotating out,
And
and the
that's sort of the
whole.
elephant in the room is that Diesel is kind of the quintessential shaper card draw event that we all know, and it's leaving. So this is essentially taking its place.
It's easy to think that this is weaker than Diesel because Diesel always draws 3 cards. But for me, when I first saw this, I was becoming really nostalgic about the last deck I played back in 2016, which was a Hyperdriver Kate deck that played Apocalypse. Hyperdriver was a program that allowed you to get 3 additional clicks. And in my mind, being able to play this alongside Hyperdriver would have been wonderful.
Hyperdriver hasn't been around in standard in a while. There are still a few ways in standard to get some extra clicks. Sort of the most direct way is to combine it with some Anarch cards. So running hot will give you 3 clicks, and then you can gain 1 click by popping Hannah Wheel's Splintra.
Yeah, and as far as I remember, Diesel was splashed pretty often into Anarch before Earthrise Hotel was printed. I can definitely see Anarch players playing Ritual alongside some of the enablers that you pointed out. For me as a designer, I really love sequencing as a puzzle. It's one of the tools I use often, and both of my games, the games you've been collaborating on, we've been co-designing Worldbreakers, and Worldbreakers is very much about sequencing, especially because in Worldbreakers you have your 4 clicks, but you don't do them one after the other. You alternate with your opponent, and deciding when to do what is a big piece of your strategy. And also, there's some specific cards in Worldbreakers that care about timing. You pointed out Fateful Meeting, which for
Yeah.
those in the audience who don't play Worldbreakers, one of the resources you gain in Worldbreakers is called Standing. There's 4 different colors of Standing, one for each one of the guilds, and Fateful Meeting draws you a card for each standing each different type of standing that you've gained. So there's always this question of, do I play my Fateful Meeting now, or do I wait until I have more standing?
Especially when the cards that you're trying to draw into are the cards that help you get standing more efficiently. That's sort of an interesting puzzle that you can put yourself in. And kind of similarly, like let's say you're trying to dig for an icebreaker or
Hmm.
something that you really need. If you first click draw and the card you get is a ritual, do you play it click 2 for draw 2 cards and keep looking for that card that you want? Or do you save it and get the full draw 3 next turn?
Yeah, and I think that dilemma is going to come up remarkably often. You draw your ritual and you do play it for draw 2 because you are digging for something. So when is Elevation coming out?
April 24th. So just a
And
few days as of this video coming out.
and now that Elevation has entered Scoops season, could you tell us a bit more about what Null Signal Games is working on or what you personally are working on?
Personally, I'm working on the comprehensive rules update that
Of course.
we need to finish up. I wrote a preview article that went up last week that talked about the rules changes that we'll be seeing. A lot of the big changes are just trying to make things more intuitive and sort of clean up some of the systems from older rules that led to some weird results.
Once again, Elevation is coming on April 24th. That's just 4 days from now. Make sure to go and grab it. And thank you, Jamie, for taking the time and telling us more about Ritual and about the game.
And if you're a Netrunner player that's here, definitely check out Worldbreakers and Flocking Hell. They're both really cool games that have a lot of interesting decisions to make about sequencing and tempo and those things.
Thank you all. Have a great day.